Kendrick Lamar is the cornerstone of Dawg Entertainment. He joined the label in the early 2000s, back when it was still just an indie outfit based in Carson, California. Born and raised in Compton, Kendrick started rapping under the name K-Dot and gained early buzz from local mixtapes. But everything changed when he dropped Section 80 in 2011, his first TDE release with real national traction. That album caught Dr. Dre's attention, and soon after, Kendrick signed a joint deal with Aftermath and Interscope, still keeping TDE as his creative home. From there, he never looked back. Good Kid, Mad City in 2012 turned him into a household name. To Pimp a Butterfly in 2015 shifted the culture entirely, blending jazz, funk, and political commentary in a way rap hadn't heard in decades. Then came Damn, which won him a Pulitzer Prize, the first for any rapper. By 2022, he closed his TDE chapter with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, marking the end of an era. Kendrick's influence is massive, but his loyalty to TDE helped shape the label's image. Thoughtful, boundary-pushing, and rooted in storytelling. Even after founding PG Lang, his legacy with Top Dawg remains untouchable. SZA is the first lady of Dawg Entertainment, but her journey into hip-hop's most respected roster wasn't typical. Born Solana Rowe, she joined TDE in 2013, at a time when the label was still mostly known for its rap-heavy lineup. Her style was a curveball, alternative R&B, with traces of neo-soul, indie rock, and bedroom pop. But that difference is exactly what made her essential. Her debut EP under TDE, Z, dropped in 2014 and caught major buzz with songs like Babylon and Child's Play. It hinted at the vulnerability and chaos that would become her signature. But it was Control, released in 2017, that made SZA a star. The album was raw and diary-like. No filters, no fronting. Songs like The Weekend and Love Galore spoke directly to the messiness of love, insecurity, and growing up. The record went triple platinum and earned her multiple Grammy nominations. SZA doesn't release often, but when she does, it hits. SOS, released in late 2022, shattered records and went #1. It proved she wasn't just riding momentum, she was evolving with every project. In a label full of rappers, SZA carved out her own lane, and in doing so, she redefined what a TDE artist could sound like. ScHoolboy Q joined TDE in the late 2000s as part of the original wave that built the label's reputation. Born Quincy Hanley in South Central LA, he didn't follow the typical industry path. He was a former college football player, a gang affiliate, and a late bloomer in rap. But when he locked in, he brought something different. Gritty street tales with a bouncy, chaotic energy. His early work with TDE, including Setbacks 2011 and Habits and Contradictions 2012, helped define the label's raw edge. But it was Oxymoron 2014 that broke him into the mainstream. The album went #1, fueled by singles like Man of the Year and Collard Greens, and balanced personal pain with party anthems. His follow-up, Blank Face LP 2016, was darker, more experimental, and even more respected among critics. Q isn't polished. He's rough, loud, honest, and sometimes unpredictable. That's part of what makes him so compelling. He's a rapper's rapper, but still has hits. And while he's gone through long gaps between albums, his work always lands with weight. ScHoolboy Q represents the grittier side of TDE. Less polished, more chaotic, but always real. When he drops, people pay attention. JRock is the foundation of Dawg Entertainment. Before Kendrick, SZA, or ScHoolboy Q, there was JRock. Born Johnny Reed McKenzie Jr. in Watts, California, he was the first artist signed to TDE in the mid-2000s. Back then, the label was just a local crew with ambition. JRock helped turn it into a real movement. He came up with street anthems and lyrical grit, landing early cosigns from Lil Wayne and Tech-9. His breakout moment came with All My Life in the Ghetto featuring Wayne and will.i.am, which pushed him into national conversations. But things didn't fully click until TDE gained momentum as a crew, and JRock found his place in it. He delivered his most defining moment with Redemption in 2018. That album was raw, focused, and deeply personal. It captured his recovery from a near-fatal motorcycle accident and reminded people that JRock is one of the most grounded, no-nonsense voices in hip-hop. Win became a sleeper anthem, and his performance on King's Dead earned him a Grammy. JRock is a veteran in every sense. He doesn't chase trends, he tells his story. And for TDE, he's the origin point. Without JRock, there's no foundation. Zacari isn't your typical R&B artist, and that's exactly why he fits with Dawg Entertainment. Born and raised in Bakersfield, California, Zacari grew up surrounded by music. His mom was in a rock band, his dad played guitar, and he learned saxophone, drums, and guitar before he ever dropped a vocal. That musical range shows up in everything he does. He got his first major shine on Kendrick Lamar's Damn, singing the hook on Love, one of the album's biggest records. That feature alone put his voice in front of millions. After that, he kept showing up on TDE tracks like Isaiah Rashad's What's Wrong and AbSoul's Raw Backwards. Every time, his vocals brought a kind of lightness to contrast TDE's harder edges. In 2019, Zacari dropped his debut EP, Run Wild, Run Free, blending R&B, soul, and alternative vibes. It's mellow but layered, personal but experimental, exactly what you'd expect from a singer raised on both jazz and rock. He doesn't sound like anyone else on the roster, but that's his strength. Zacari is the quiet storm of TDE, not flashy, not loud, but when he sings, you stop and listen. His presence proves that TDE isn't just about bars, it's about artistry in every form. Isaiah Rashad is one of TDE's most introspective artists, and one of its most human. Born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Rashad brought a southern perspective to a label mostly known for its West Coast flavor, but he never tried to fit in. Instead, he brought his own story: depression, addiction, self-doubt, and survival. And he did it through deeply personal poetic rap. He joined TDE in 2013 and made his first big splash with Sylvia Demo in 2014, a coming-of-age project that wasn't flashy, but quietly brilliant. It introduced listeners to his laid-back flow, warm beats, and confessional style. He wasn't trying to be the hardest or the flashiest. He was just trying to be honest. His 2016 album, The Sun's Tirade, cemented his place in hip-hop. It was vulnerable, scattered, and often heavy, exactly like someone fighting to stay afloat. He rapped openly about his battles with alcoholism and mental health, making fans feel less alone. After a long hiatus, he returned in 2021 with The House is Burning, a confident but still raw reflection of where he'd been and where he was going. Rashad's strength is in his truth. He doesn't chase hits or headlines. He makes music for people who feel too much, and that's exactly why he matters. Sir is TDE's smooth operator. Hailing from Inglewood, California, he brings an R&B sound to the label that feels timeless but never outdated. He's the kind of artist who can sit comfortably next to soul legends and still sound like the future. Before signing with Dawg Entertainment in 2017, he'd already worked behind the scenes as a songwriter for big names like Jill Scott, Tyrese, and Anita Baker. So by the time he dropped his debut TDE project, Her Too, he knew exactly what he was doing. His 2018 album, November, was a quiet storm, full of moody synths, sensual melodies, and late-night reflections. It introduced fans to a voice that could sound confident and broken in the same verse. And he followed it up in 2019 with Chasing Summer, a polished but emotional record that featured artists like Kendrick Lamar, Smino, and Sabrina Claudio. What sets Sir apart is how effortless he makes everything sound. His voice is weightless, his lyrics are sharp, and his production always feels lived in. But underneath the smoothness is depth. Whether he's singing about love, doubt, or purpose, it's always real. Sir isn't just TDE's R&B guy. He's one of the best doing it, period. AbSoul is the philosopher of Dawg Entertainment. Born Herbert Stevens IV and raised in Carson, California, Soul has always stood out, not just in TDE, but in hip-hop as a whole. Where Kendrick might give you stories and ScHoolboy brings raw energy, AbSoul gives you riddles, theories, double meanings, and wordplay that demands a second listen. He signed to TDE in the late 2000s and made his name as one-fourth of the Black Hippy crew alongside Kendrick Lamar, ScHoolboy Q, and JRock. His 2012 album Control System was the project that really broke him out, packed with cryptic bars about religion, government, identity, drugs, and conspiracy. It's not background music. It's the type of album you study. What's unique about AbSoul is that his weirdness is his strength. He's the guy rapping about pineal glands, acid trips, and enlightenment, but doing it with the cadence of someone from the streets. He's as likely to quote a philosopher as he is a street prophet. After years of being quiet, Soul returned with Herbert in 2022, an album that felt more personal, grounded, and self-reflective. It reminded everyone that AbSoul isn't just some abstract rapper. He's human, and when he speaks, you know there's something worth hearing. Rayvon is one of the newer faces on Top Dawg Entertainment's roster, but he came in with confidence like he's been here the whole time. Born and raised in Long Beach, California, Ray brings a mix of wit, sharp storytelling, and hunger to the table, clearly influenced by West Coast legends, but with a voice and style that's entirely his own. He officially signed to TDE in 2021, making his debut with a fiery LA Leakers freestyle that quickly turned heads. In those few minutes, Ray showed off everything: punchlines, charisma, flow switches, and more importantly, personality. It wasn't just technical ability. You could tell this guy had something to say. Soon after, he dropped his debut project under TDE, Peer Pressure, which explored everything from childhood trauma to dreams of making it out. His music walks the line between gritty and vulnerable, tough but honest, and that balance is what makes him promising. Rayvon isn't riding on the TDE name. He's actively earning his place among giants, and in a post-Kendrick era, he feels like part of the next wave. Still raw, still growing, but the potential is there. He's not just trying to fit in, he's aiming to stand out. Reasonz joined Top Dawg Entertainment in 2018, stepping into one of the most respected rap rosters with zero hesitation. A South Central LA native, he didn't arrive with hype or cosigns. He arrived with pen game, real stories, and a sharp ear for detail. His breakout moment came with Better Days, a track that set the tone for his music. Honest, raw, and reflective of real-life pressure. Shortly after signing, he re-released There You Have It through TDE, giving new fans a full intro to who he is, someone who came up rough, stayed grounded, and speaks with purpose. Songs like Colored Dreams and Situations showed a willingness to talk about everything: growing up in poverty, systemic issues, gang violence, and self-doubt. What sets Reasonz apart is his directness. He's not trying to be cryptic or overly poetic. He talks to you like you're sitting in the room with him. That conversational style, mixed with lyrical skill, makes him feel accessible but sharp. In a label full of layered philosophical artists, Reasonz brings a more straight-ahead, journalistic lens to the TDE lineup. He's a rapper's rapper, gritty, grounded, and growing with every drop. You can tell he's playing the long game. Cal Banks is one of Top Dawg Entertainment's most underrated but essential artists. Hailing from Dallas, Texas, he's not just a rapper, he's also a producer, and that dual skill set gives him a unique edge. His sound blends soulful samples, melodic experimentation, and dense Southern energy, all wrapped in sharp storytelling. Before joining TDE officially, Cal had already started making noise as a producer, working closely with artists like Isaiah Rashad. In fact, a lot of The House is Burning has Cal's fingerprints on it, including standouts like Lay With Ya. That behind-the-scenes role helped him build trust within the TDE camp before fully stepping into the spotlight as an artist. His debut TDE project, Keep It in the Fam, dropped in 2023 and felt like a statement. It wasn't trying to be flashy. It was layered, personal, and deeply textured. Songs like Tangerine and Float proved he could rap just as well as he could build a beat. His verses are reflective, but not preachy. He raps like someone who's been through a lot, but still keeps a sense of humor about it. Cal Banks isn't loud about his presence, but the quality speaks for itself. He's the kind of artist you keep returning to, quietly consistent and always evolving. Lance Skiwalker is one of TDE's most enigmatic artists, and that's exactly how he seems to like it. With a style that blends R&B, soul, hip-hop, and experimental soundscapes, his music doesn't try to fit into easy boxes. It's hazy, sometimes strange, often beautiful, and always intentional. He officially joined Top Dawg Entertainment in 2016, making him one of the label's most low-profile signings at the time. His debut album, Introverted Intuition, dropped that same year. The project was packed with eerie melodies, distorted vocals, and spacey production, more like a moody sonic collage than a traditional R&B record. It didn't get the mainstream attention some other TDE releases did, but it found a cult following that appreciated its weirdness and emotional honesty. Since then, Lance has continued to work quietly, popping up with features and occasional singles. His track Toaster and more recent drops like Tales from the Telescope Chapter 1 and 2 show that he hasn't lost that experimental edge. He doesn't overshare or try to flood the market. Instead, he puts out exactly what he wants, when he wants. Lance Skiwalker isn't for everyone, but for listeners who like their R&B abstract and their rap a little off-center, he's a hidden gem in the TDE lineup. Terrence Punch Henderson is more than just the president of Top Dawg Entertainment. He's also an artist in his own right. While most fans know him as the strategic mind behind TDE's rise, Punch has quietly built a music catalog over the years that reflects the same thoughtfulness and layered depth he brings to his executive work. He co-founded TDE alongside Anthony Top Dawg Tiffett and helped turn the label from a local LA operation into one of the most respected brands in hip-hop. Behind the scenes, he played a major role in developing Kendrick Lamar, SZA, and the entire Black Hippy collective, acting as a mentor, A&R, and sometimes even co-writer. His eye for detail and commitment to artist development are part of what makes TDE so different from other labels. But Punch is also a rapper. His verses tend to be poetic, introspective, and rooted in life experience, focusing on themes like identity, purpose, and the weight of leadership. He's dropped a few solo tracks over the years like 2010 Vision, Gold, and Pay No Attention to the Man Behind the Curtains, all of which show a calm, reflective style that doesn't chase trends. Punch may not flood streaming platforms, but when he speaks, whether on a track or in an interview, it's usually worth listening to. Doechii is one of the boldest and most creative voices to join TDE in recent years. Originally from Tampa, Florida, she made waves with her viral hit Yucky Blucky Fruitcake, which showcased not just her talent, but her personality, storytelling, and ability to switch flows with ease. What stands out most is that Doechii doesn't fit neatly into any box. She raps, sings, dances, performs, sometimes all in the same track. Her arrival at TDE marked a new chapter, not just for her, but for the label too. Doechii brings a different kind of energy, experimental, theatrical, and fearless. Tracks like Persuasive and Crazy show her range, blending house, rap, alt R&B, and whatever else she feels like touching. She's not trying to sound like anyone else, and that's exactly why she fits. TDE has always been about pushing boundaries, and Doechii does that every time she steps to the mic. Beyond the music, she's also a performer. Whether it's visuals, choreography, or interviews, she knows how to leave an impression. And while she's still early in her major label run, it's clear that TDE is betting big on her. And so far, she's proven them right. Doechii isn't just next up, she's already here. That wraps up our breakdown of every Top Dawg Entertainment artist. From legacy acts to rising names, TDE stays stacked with talent, depth, and originality. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let us know in the comments who's your favorite TDE artist.